now I need to ask you about Bring the Power Down because
Yeah.
that is like I wanted to cover that in Ice. Like that is songs, hardcore punk, whatever. Songs is one of my favorite songs ever. I don't know if I've ever
Wow.
even told you that. And like I love that song. I will put that song on, back in the days driving around in the car when I would like when we had CDs in our car, I would listen to that song on repeat. I love that song. How did you can you break down the structure of writing that song, because that is just such a great song and it's so well put together and it's so powerful how it's constructed. So leave nothing out.
Okay. Well, first of all, that was originally an old song I had when I was in this band called F Sharp, way back like in the mid '80s,
Okay.
and it was 5 times as fast. So imagine that riff just playing 5 times faster.
Okay.
So I slowed it down and just added some extra notes into it. Because I liked the riff, but when it was played too fast, you couldn't really feel the heaviness and the pull of it, especially considering it's into standard tuning. So many bands use drop tunings now to sound heavier. Um, yeah, so it was an old song I had that I slowed down the changes, slowed down the riff, added some extra parts to it, and I just put new words to it.
Oh, so you wrote the lyrics.
Yeah.
Where did those lyrics come from? I mean, because that is like I love, we all have skeletons and hide in our closet. Sometimes I talk to mine, they keep me company. Like I've said that to people without any context of the song, and they just look at me and I kind of laugh and I explain it. But like Rick, that is a great song. Like really a great song.
Well, thank you, Evan. Well, it was actually a poem, and
Okay.
I had to kind of change the structure a little bit to and then once Bill put his own vocal nuances into it, it ended up with the feel that it had. Because I would just play it quietly, unplugged on the electric at practice, and kind of sing the words. Okay, this is kind of the feel I have. But the actual idea for it, it was a lot of instances, being the troubled youth in the '80s and whatnot. I mean, I was a few years older than all the guys in Haywire. But yeah, it was actually started as a poem
Okay.
that I kind of had to adjust to give it, like, well, okay, well, this is going to be the chorus. Because originally the chorus was just a stanza in the poem itself, but I kind of listed, okay, well, I'm going to make that the chorus, so you can repeat it each time it goes full circle. Um, yeah, just a lot of things. I always tried to steer away from politics when it came to writing, because to me, political it doesn't age well.
No.
It doesn't. Like you listen to some of the older bands from the '80s that were political at the time. You're like, yeah, this is I kind of feel your rage, but you listen to it 40 years later, and it's kind of it's kind of like watching like an '80s sitcom or something. It's like, okay, it was funny then, but you look at it, I don't know, those jokes are just falling flat. That's just me. Um, uh, and as far as like the influences, I said I just a lot of different things. I think just watching people that were stagnating in their lives, and actually I was one of them. I'm not going to deny it, and not willing to shed um, who they were. And I guess it's kind of half-assed to say it at this point in my life, because the person I am in 2020 leaps and bounds away from the person I was in like 1985, '86.
Right.
Uh, but it just seemed like a lot of people really regimented themselves in life, in the scene, and to this day, Evan, I mean, you probably even see it yourself doing what you do as far as these interviews. I talked to some of the people that were musicians that I knew back in the '80s, not just so much from like hardcore, but from all realms, and some of them are just afraid to lose their cred, I guess you want to say, whether it's their metal cred, their punk cred, their whatever. So you got these guys that are pushing 60 and they still hold on to these ideals that they had back then. And if that works for them, that's fine. But I always wondered why some people just never really wanted to grow or move forward.
Well, it's
And
interesting because the line in the song, everything is such a waste of time, and just all of that, bring the power down, that whole thing, in an odd way. I'm sure you've seen the movie Fight Club, or no,
Yeah.
or, well, there's that line or that point where early in the movie, Edward Norton and Brad Pitt are driving in the car, and like Brad Pitt just says something to them, to Edward Norton, something to the effect of like let's like essentially like fuck it, let's evolve. Like, and I forget what the full context of that, but I always, every time I hear the song "Bring the Power Down," I'm reminded of that part of Fight Club. So it's just interesting, and to know that like it started as a poem. Like, I had no idea until we did this interview that you wrote that song. In terms of the lyrics, I thought that was all Billy, and the beauty of that is that seems like something that Billy could have written, just because
Yeah.
Billy, I remember saying in an interview once that like he's not afraid to set the whole house on fire just to keep himself warm. And I remember being like, okay, like that's Billy. Like
Yep, that's Billy.
yeah, that is him. And yeah, that's no. Thank you for just all of that. Just breaking that down, because I'd always wondered about this. Like I've been like, oh, okay, how did that happen? But now, so you guys go to Europe, and I know because I remember I was around you during this time, and oddly, it doesn't feel that long ago, even though it was 28 years later. But like, what, like you guys broke up in Europe? Like, as much as you want to share, like, how did that happen? Just because to me, it's odd, just because it's like, dude, you guys are in Europe, you guys have this record out, I knew about Abominations, like, oh, I knew that there was another record, like, and then you break up, and but one thing I've come to find out about punk and hardcore bands is right when things are going as great as you think they could be going, that's pretty much when things end. So take it away.
Yeah, again, it's not one of those situations where, he said, she said sort of things. And again, this was decades ago. I can just speak for myself and say, once I got over there and the tour just started to go, move into motion, and just the dates started happening, I knew it was something I wasn't ready for myself. John could all give sides as well.
You're breaking up just ever so slightly.
When I got over there.
Oh yeah, it's just kind of breaking up a little bit.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Okay, you seem good now.
I don't know how much of it.
So start with, you got over there, things got in motion, and it was something you weren't ready for. So you could start there and just continue.
Okay. Yeah. So I really didn't know what to expect because I had never done it before. And, at that point, I really wasn't a very worldly person. The only countries I'd ever really gone to at that time were like Canada and Mexico. I just found myself just having anxiety a lot of the time when I was there. And why that was, I don't know. But again, like I said, the person I was in 1990 is very different from who I am now. And it just seemed very strenuous. And so I could just kind of tell it was kind of taking a toll on the band. Maybe not all of us, but some of us. And I know it just seemed after about like a week, especially for me, it just wasn't fun. It wasn't fun anymore. And why that was, I don't know. Maybe I had expectations that were different. But yeah, so we did, the tour did get cut short. Honestly, I'm sorry, Evan, I don't remember exactly how long we were there. We did get quite a few dates out of the way. We played several shows in Germany. We played in the Netherlands. We played up north, and our very last show was in Hamburg. And we played with, I believe, with No Means No, I want to say. Again, I have the itinerary somewhere. And that was just when we just didn't seem happy. We were just sitting backstage. We were just kind of quiet. And I know after John, myself, and Bill left, Vadim did stay behind and did finish out with the other band doing some road work for them. I remember the singer for the other band we toured with did get hurt. They were playing soccer on one of our days off, and he either broke his hand or broke his wrist. I don't remember which, but they did have to take a train ride to Hamburg. Or no, I'm sorry, it might have been Munich. I don't remember. But they had to take this long train ride for him to have work done on his hand. So they ended up going instrumental, like for the few days that were left because they didn't have a singer.
Gotcha.
And, yeah. So I wish I could give you more details.
No.
I said, it was so long ago. But yeah, honestly, I can only give my side of it. Is I don't think I was mentally mature enough or just worldly enough to handle it. And like I said, I just felt a lot of anxiety when I was there. And I was saying, this isn't how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. And I'm not pointing fingers at anyone because, I'm the one that took myself over there. I'm the one that put myself there. And, I think if it were to happen now, it would be much different. It would be very different since I've experienced a lot more of life since then. And, there are some people that were like much younger than me. Like some of these guys in the band's like, oh yeah, our band has like toured the U.S. like 4 times. I'm just like, and you're what, 20? So.
A few bands later, Carrie Nation took the stage. Shortly after that, Judge, a band from New York, took the stage. Andrew and I left a few songs into their set. As I was leaving, Nelson introduced me to Greg Brown, Scott Sundahl, Paul T., and other members of a group known as the Orange County Sloth Crew. Eventually, they would nickname me Mushnik, which was a character I had been in a high school play. On the ride home, I had no idea that those people I had just met would become and would be the gateway to the best friends I would ever have.